Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Girlfriend started lying to me and hiding things from me. Things got bad when I found out that the guy who organized the entire cheap trip was someone who asked her out 2 times knowing she was in a relationship with me. I fought with her over this and told her it's either me or the trip, and she said fine and dropped me. I was out of my mind. Called her bad stuff that I regret and I wish I could take it back, but I couldn't digest how she would drop a 5-year relationship for a trip with 6 other guys and one girl with a truckload of relationship issues, and someone who has a crush on someone else on the trip while she has in a relationship. BTW, one of the reasons I thought it was my fault was that female friend's boyfriend was fine with it. When she came back from the trip, I kept calling her and we eventually got back, but then slowly I found out things that were very painful. First, she had lied that her parents knew about this. They know me, BTW, and they don't know the specifics of her trip. She lied to her parents for the trip with that a-hole who asked her out. She has never lied to her parents for me. I asked her once if I could use her PAN card to save some tax and she said no because her parents said no and she won't go against them. Then she told me she is very traditional and would not let any guy touch her. One of my friends sent me a few pics guys uploaded on Insta that I later found out she was hiding from me. She was really sad and cried and then told me everything, and things got horrible there. She had cried on someone's shoulder and slept on him during the trip. That's probably the only thing I can ask and find out. She took pics with that guy too, and the kind of pics she would hate seeing me take with any girl. And to top it all off, the friend who was the only other girl on the trip broke up with her boyfriend and turns out she was the one telling it me through her phone, stuff like fuck off and let her live her life and other bees. Now she is back from the trip and tells me she regrets it, but she had hidden a lot of things about the trip that I only found out when a friend told me about it. When she came back, I asked her if anything happened. She said no. I requested her to remove pics from her Insta related to the trip because I was uncomfortable. She reluctantly archived it, but she cried a lot and told me she regrets it and she would never ever do anything I wouldn't like, but wouldn't cut off certain people in the trip, especially that shitty girl. I'm sorry about not organizing the events correctly. I just don't know what to do. I almost lost my mind and tried to find ways to get that friend, the girl who probably persuaded her into legal issues, but I realized quickly that's not getting me anywhere and left it. Things are good now. She tells me she will listen to me always but doesn't seem like she will. That girl she isn't cutting off, and told me she doesn't know about us if I go after her, etc. How do I get back what we had before? We had an amazing relationship before. We could be 100% honest to each other. We spoke about everything, from money to constipation, but now I don't know how to start trusting her again, cause if she hid all this, I'd quit else she hid skeptical. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Honestly, I don't know if she's giving you all the details. I also don't know if there's any way to ensure she is without ruining the relationship in the process due to her being offended, etc. But at this point, if I were you, I'd only be able to move forward if I knew nothing happened, so I'd either end things or pry for more answers. Ask someone else who was on the trip or just press her harder about it. Or of course you can just move on to someone who won't treat you badly based on pressure from a guy that likes her. Tears and fickle promises. Why are you paying for what she gave away for free to some if not all of those dudes? This is a list of things she won't do for you, her supposed boyfriend. She lied to you and her parents for one dude, was touching them and taking pics with them that she wouldn't want you to take with someone else. Had her friend disrespecting you for having boundaries. Cried and refused to cut these people off, and that is just from the beginning of this jumbled mess. Ask the friend who has a pic and clearly more info what really went down. I think you already know, your conservative girlfriend is not so conservative and she is not your girlfriend, to coin a current saying. She is for the streets and you don't need her deceitful trickle truth offering to bring you this level of drama. Introduce her to the other side of the door, and when someone shows you who they are, believe them and act accordingly. You desperately need to find the exit, like you are in a burning building. She was never the person you thought she was. Without hesitation she insisted her trip was more important to her than your relationship. She has decided you are boring. She lies freely and without conscience or remorse. She knew you were upset, but didn't care. You put up with that. She comes back from her dream adventure trip realizing it wasn't such a good idea after all. It doesn't sound like it was a friendly flirty experience with some fantasy hunks flattering her and her friend with romantic morsels of fruit. More likely she was passed around a group of 6 horny guys, who wanted her to satisfy their needs whenever they couldn't find an intimate partner for the night. A guaranteed backup lay. If they were sober, polite and patient, they might have decided who took turns next. One or two might have been okay, but a demanding gang all at once could be too many. And she was more than willing to come along and couldn't cry or pee. If that was what happened, then I would not expect even one of the guys to want to have her as a GF. Maybe a free relief cum dump when there's nothing else available. You really have dodged a bullet. Yeah, she's been lying, and hiding things. But she knows what she wants, and is successfully deceptive to keep you thinking she is 100% amazing. You really do not need that as a GF. There's an old saying, from my much younger days. I wouldn't touch her with yours. The pics you've seen are the relatively clean ones. Escape. Those guys are laughing at you. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.